Can you hear me? Yeah. I have 20 minutes to help us solve the mystery of our existence. In spiritual terms, the question that humans have asked throughout the ages is, who am I? Why do I exist? Is there any meaning or purpose to my existence? What happens to me after I die? Is there a divine being? And if so, do I have any connection with that? Those are spiritual questions. Scientific questions, on the other hand, says, what's out there? What's the universe made of? How can I measure it? And how can I use this understanding to create technology, including our latest technology called AI and everything else that we're experiencing, VR and extended reality and, as I said, mixed reality, and everything that we are exploring now through new sciences like quantum mechanics and relativity. So if you go on the internet and you just type out the following question: what are the two most important or open questions in science today? And the first open question in science is, what's the universe made of? And the second open question in science is, what's the biological basis of consciousness? So I'm going to try and relate these two questions to the first question: who am I? Let's give it a shot, okay? So you would say we know what the universe is made of, so why is science asking this question? What's the universe made of? Well, according to current science, and as you know, science is always a process. What we know today, tomorrow may not be valid. What we knew yesterday is not valid today. But according to current science, 70% of the universe is a mysterious entity called dark energy. And dark energy is a force which is opposite gravity. So right now, as we are sitting here, the space between galaxies is expanding faster than the speed of light due to this energy. It's also called quantum vacuum energy. It's also called the cosmological constant, etc., etc. And according to current quantum field theories, a handful of space, let's say space in a cup of water, contains more potential energy than you need to boil all the oceans of the earth. So this is an enormous force that we do not understand at the moment. And there are many problems. The mathematical equations describe this energy as much larger than what we observe, but that's another issue. In any case, 70% of the universe is formless dark energy, and we do not know what it is, which leaves 30% remaining, of which 27% is another mysterious entity called dark matter. So what is dark matter? Dark matter is invisible matter. Normally we think of matter as things we can see, touch, things that have form, things that are solid. But dark matter is invisible. And so why do we call it matter at all? And again, that's a mathematical construct to describe most of the gravity in the universe. Because dark matter bends space-time in the same way as regular matter. And if there wasn't any dark matter, then planets would spiral off and disappear into intergalactic space, and you and I wouldn't exist. Okay, so now we're left with 3% of the universe, which is atomic. Dark matter is not made of atoms, so we can't interact with it. It doesn't reflect light, absorb light, emit light, and we are made of atoms, so we can't interact with it. So not only is it unknown, is probably unknowable. So now we're left with 3% of the universe, which is atomic, regular atoms that make up you and me. And of that, 99.99999% is invisible interstellar dust, which we can't see. It's probably hydrogen and helium that was created at the moment of the Big Bang. So we're left with 0.01% of atoms that create the visible universe. This is current science, by the way. Don't believe me. Check it out. Go on AI or whatever your source is. So the visible universe, which is 2 trillion galaxies, 2 trillion galaxies, according to current estimates, 700 sextillion stars. I don't know how to write that, except it's, 700 followed by a lot of zeros, and uncountable trillions of planets, and according to current estimates of biospheres, 60 billion habitable planets just in the Milky Way galaxy. Just in the Milky Way galaxy. And habitable meaning like this, with this kind of biosphere, with this kind of gravity, with this kind of temperature, because it's called the Goldilocks zone. So if a planet is too close to its sun, no life. Too far, no life. Too cold, no life. Too hot, no life as we know it. And then other things, electromagnetic, gravitational forces. But based on that, current estimates, 60 billion habitable planets in just the Milky Way galaxy. Multiply that with 2 trillion galaxies, and the universe is teeming with existence as we know it. And the problem with this now is that atoms, as we know them, are made of particles. And according to quantum mechanics, particles have a dual nature. When you're looking at them, they have units of mass and energy. They are little things. But when you stop looking at them, they disappear into waves. And if you ask scientists, what are these waves made of and where do they exist? The waves that create the visible universe. And they'll give you an answer. They're made of possibilities, mathematical possibilities, in Hilbert space, which is a mathematical space. In other words, everything I've told you exists in human imagination. The shortest answer to what's the universe is made of is it's made of nothing. So which leads to the second most important question in science. Why does it look like this? Why does it look like you, me, this stage, all these colors, all these forms, all these sounds, all these textures? And that's called the hard problem of consciousness. That's the second open question in science. What's the biological basis of consciousness? So now I'm going to share with you why these conundrums, as we pose them, are impossible questions to ask. Why is it impossible to ask the question, what's the universe is made of, if it's made of nothing? And why do we ask this question, what is the biological basis of consciousness, when our very biology is an experience in consciousness? So ultimately, we need a very radical shift in our understanding of the cosmos and who we are, because the two most important questions in science are incorrect questions. The universe is made of nothing, and there's no biological basis of consciousness. Consciousness is what conceives, governs, constructs, and becomes the universe. And that consciousness is experiencing everything that we call reality. So your mind is a modified form of consciousness. Consciousness modifies itself into a species-specific mind, in this case, the human mind. But it also modifies itself into other minds, crocodile minds and insect minds and dolphin minds and whale minds and all kinds of minds, okay? So consciousness is modifying itself for us as the human mind, and it also modifies itself as human perceptual activity, which is then conceived as the human mind. So it is consciousness which is conceiving, constructing, governing, and becoming the universe, which is you and me. What is consciousness? So I've just said it's not the mind, it's not our body, it's not our perceptual activity. So what is it? And where is it? Why can't we see it? Just like you can see me, why can't you see consciousness? And the reason you can't see in consciousness is, first of all, what is it? So consciousness is that in which all experience occurs. This experience right now is happening in consciousness. It's not happening in your brain. You're looking at me, and there are photons coming to your eyes, and the photons are generating electrical impulses. There's chemistry in your eyes, in your brain, and in your eyes, but there's no picture of me in your eyes or in your brain. So where are you experiencing me right now? Where are you experiencing your own body right now? Where are you experiencing your own thoughts right now? Consciousness is that in which all experience occurs. The experience of the mind, the body, and the universe as a unified process occurs in consciousness. So consciousness is that in which all experience occurs. It's that in which all experience is known. You know that you're having an experience. And it is that which modifies itself into all experience as perceptual activity, species-specific, as cognitive activity, and as the knowing of that cognitive activity. That is consciousness. And it has no form. And because it has no form, it has no borders. Anything that has form has a border, right? My hand has a border, this watch has a border, the screen has a border, but consciousness being formless has no border. Therefore, it is infinite. And not only is it formless, infinite, borderless, it is inconceivable. It is imperceivable. It is that which gives rise to conception and perception, but it itself is inconceivable, spaceless, timeless, fundamental, irreducible, and the ground of all experience, which we call mind, body, and universe. And our closest access to it is formless space, this space that we're in. This space that we're in, including this space, which is connected to intergalactic space, it is also the space between your thoughts. It is also the space between every perception. It is the space between every intention, and it is the space that is organizing itself into what we call space-time, energy, matter, information, knowledge, and ultimately the secrets of the universe. And this space that we're in right now, it's engulfing you, it's engulfing me, it's engulfing everything that we call thought, everything that we call energy, everything that we call matter. We can't see this space, but we can experience it because of the objects in this space. If the objects disappeared from space, even the space would disappear. And so what would remain? What would remain is what wisdom traditions call pure consciousness. Pure consciousness means consciousness that has not yet modified itself into form and phenomena. And so who are we? We are pure consciousness modifying itself into a human experience. And we have the ability to transcend to that place where there is no concept, no perception, but the possibility of infinite modes of perception and cognition. The superposition of infinite modes of possibilities of experience. What we call matter is a human construct for an experience that we have as a human species, as conscious agents, in the matrix of conscious agents, which includes species-specific conscious agents that are differentiated from one source, which is pure consciousness, modifying itself into infinite forms and phenomena. It is self-regulating, self-organizing, self-evolving, non-local, and entangled across the matrix into the experience of every species. So, coming back to our final question, which we started with, who am I? Beyond all concepts and all perceptions, you are consciousness. You are the divine consciousness modifying itself into infinite modes of knowing and experience. And this can only be understood, not intellectually, although I've tried my best to give you a framework, but by transcending all concepts and all perceptions into the field of pure awareness. So before I close, I have 3 minutes and 17 seconds according to human constructs of space and time. I'd just like you to close your eyes for a moment and take a moment to put your awareness in your heart and just ask a very fundamental question: who am I? Go a little deeper. Ask yourself, am I the changing body, or am I the awareness in which the body is a changing experience? Don't try to answer the question, see what comes up. Am I the changing body, or am I the awareness in which the changing body is an experience? Go a little deeper. Am I the changing mind, or am I the awareness in which the changing mind is an experience? Am I my ego personality, or am I the awareness in which the ego personality recycles and evolves as a changing experience? Who or what am I? Allowing any sensation, any image, any feeling, any thought to come to you. And now for a moment, just have the intention to experience your body without form. And have the intention for that formless body to be one with the infinite formless. And what you have entered is what the wisdom traditions call the Akashic field. The field that modifies itself into infinite modes of knowing, experience, energy, information, matter, and the self-reflection of that. You may open your eyes, and what I'm sharing with you now is the secret to our existence, which is have a relationship with your formless self, the infinite, formless, irreducible self that is connected to the infinite, formless being that we call the divine. Who are we? We are the universe having a human experience. Thank you.